According to the Advanced Learners Dictionary, values are beliefs about what is right and what is wrong. Do you agree with this definition?
Yes.
That being said, do you also know that beliefs are opinions or feelings about something?
Come again.
Are you of the view that all 48.8 million Ugandans have the same beliefs?
Plausible.
Yes or no?
Plausible.
Ideas, opinions, and situations affect people's way of living. Do you agree?
Yes.
Have you heard of euthanasia?
No.
So you come here with half-baked ideas. Do you agree that different people hold different views about mercy killing?
No.
You don't even know what it is, and you...
How sure are you?
Do you think abortion is bad?
Yes, it is.
By the mere fact that you think it is bad, that is subjective. Because you're just thinking those are personal...
Part of rational thinking.
What is the consensus? Okay, thank you so much. You can have your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, a consensus is where people come and discuss, agree on the ideas that they have researched on, and that's when they agree, but personal, it is feelings out of experiences and situations. First of all, they agree to the definitions that values are beliefs, and we're talking about moral values. So, ladies and gentlemen, opinions, situations change beliefs. And situations are definitely dependent on this. That makes moral values subjective. Even the resolution supports us because values change with beliefs, which people, they have clearly agreed that people have different opinions, different societies. Ladies and gentlemen, I asked whether all Ugandans have the same beliefs on public decency. How, for example, we have the Maasai society, we have the Karamojong society believing in putting on a wrapper. But when you come here, it is quite indecent. It is obscene. So the difference between feelings and situations and makes moral values subjective. For example, according to safaris.uganda.com, the Karamojong culture is unique. And it is because of the difference in the perception of decency, public decency, dress code, because you find it is obscene here in Central, but it is the normal in Karamoja. Ladies and gentlemen, mercy killing, it happens in a situation where the doctor has to choose. This person is going to die, but we save them all because of situation. The situation changes the moral value. That makes it very subjective. Then we talk of abortion. He said it is bad. We all agree with that, but that was a thought anyway. Now abortion happens whereby the doctor still has to choose. It is in the situation that you find that you feel pity. Would you kill the child and the mother, or you kill the child and the mother survives? This is subjectivity, ladies and gentlemen. And then, all these views on moral values are dependent on somebody's experience and opinions, therefore varying subjectivity.
Protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Omar Joshua from government team, Seeta High School. I shall ask you a yes or no question. All my questions deserve a yes or no response answer. I may begin. So, standing before me, you vouch wholly for your team. Yes or no?
Pardon?
Standing before me, you vouch wholly for your team. Yes or no?
Yes, I do.
So, did your third speaker say that people are not the same?
Yes.
So you contradict that you actually stand wholly for your team. Because people are different.
I do not disagree because people are very different and we have agreed to that.
Do you take this motion with prejudice stance?
Pardon?
Do you take this motion with prejudice stance?
No, we don't.
You are actually, if you actually knew the meaning of prejudice, it would have meant that you did enough research to back up your case, because prejudice simply means that law is actually subjected, that you are simply believing that the motion simply means that the law is actually subjected and morals are more of subjective nature. You do not know what you're saying. Do you agree that laws are made on rational basis after debate among parliamentarians?
Yes, because they debate their
So you have
feelings
said
and
yes.
ideas.
So clearly, you agree to the fact that laws are made rationally because people actually sit down around a round table and rationally.
And
think
what do
these
they
things
discuss?
through
Their ideas and experiences.
before they put their ideas aside and think for the betterment of the government
What
and the
would you
society
debate
of
without
Uganda.
ideas?
Next question. Is the dire situation, are dire situations usually solved by rational thinking or by feelings and thoughts?
The situation depends.
I said, are dire situations usually solved by rational thinking or by feelings and thoughts?
Both of them.
Yes
Both
or
of
no?
them apply.
That is very wrong, because if you have people who are thinking through only thoughts and opinions basing on their feelings, you're going to find out that we're going to have very many problems in society, because simply, I can give an example. The reason why we are here at school, not all of us really love school, but we find ourselves here in school because it is for the betterment of our country. It is for the betterment for us as a society. Did your first speaker? So, now, you may take your seat. I've had enough. So, what have we noticed in today's debate? In today's debate, we had a burden of proof, right? Both sides had their own burdens. As a position team, as a proposition team, we had a burden of daily proving to you why we actually think that laws are actually more based on objective thinking and not based on subjective thinking. And we clearly showed this out to you through the various points of point of choice, and then we also gave to you another point that morals are embodied in law, which they did not rebut. But however, on the opposition side, their points were clearly rebutted and watered down because they were only of weak, and because that was simply because they only thought of the tiny bit. They only considered the tiny portion of society instead of thinking the betterment of society. If this team was actually serious, they would have debated upon the various religions out there, the organizations. There are very many of them, and they would have actually harmonized this to actually prove to us why they think belief and religion as a whole is actually a great effect to moral values. And another, thank you. I remain Omar Joshua, proud to propose.
When I was listening to this debate, first and foremost, definitions. That was wonderful. So, if I may ask first of all, from which parameter are you people debating? That's the first question. Because you people have gone on to spiral into argument, but we cannot even ground you back to any parameter. I do not even know if any of you went ahead to mention that again. That's one. In terms of strategy, when we are talking about morals, much as there's a very big conjunction between morals and the law, the fact that there exist cases where something may appear moral or immoral, but the law permits it, goes to show us that there is that is a whole different discussion. Now, Team Affirmative brought in so much of the law and the law and the law, and at a point, you left the discussion of morals. Another person comes and gives an example of where a loved one is in pain. I was duly paying maximum attention to hear what the farmers had to say about the point of, depends on the situation. Because you did not quote anything, all the examples they gave, you did not try to show us an element in there where the morals must be as you are saying they should be. So that was how I analyzed this debate as your lines of argument in terms of strategy. Now, I'll leave it to my fellow judges to go into their detail and give marks. Thank you.
So like he said, this was a very beautiful debate. It was wonderful. Both of you stated out your arguments very well. Your style was perfect. Now going into the argument, the real issue of the debate. Team Affirmative, you came up with a strategy of saying that the morals are embedded in the law. And the fact that the law is made basing on rational thinking, that is why you think that the what? Moral values are objective and not subjective. Now, I'm going to be very precise in my judgment, and I tell you where I made my line from, and I say this is where this team takes the day. Now, beginning with parameters, Team Affirmative, you came up and set your parameter as Uganda. You gave us your reasons as to why you have set Uganda. Now, Team Negative came up and gave their parameter as the whole world. Then they started talking about euthanasia. Now, I want you to know that euthanasia is when the doctor is allowed to take someone's life. And that is not even legal in Uganda. The fact that you even discussed that as Team Affirmative shows that you actually swayed to Team Negative's side and started discussing the parameter as the whole world. Furthermore, you ended up giving examples of moral values outside Uganda. That alone showed that you had allowed your parameter to be set by Team Negative. Then you came up and stated, you gave a very beautiful strategy of religious values as Team Affirmative. Then Team Negative came up and told you, no, religious values are very different from moral values. They are not moral values. And that is where I faulted you. Now, furthermore, Team Affirmative, Team Negative came up and said, no, these moral values are actually subjective and not objective. They stated for you Article 22, which gives a right to life. But that Article 22 has an exception, which leaves it to the discretion of court. I waited patiently for you people to come and tell us that no, the right to life is non-negotiable. The right to life in Uganda, no one is allowed to take your right to life. No one is allowed to take away your life. That is why the death penalty is not even implemented in Uganda. But you did not come to rebut that. They say that the laws are actually have exceptions, and that is what shows the subjectivity in the law. I waited for you to rebut that. You did not rebut that. They came and said decency is subjective according to society. They gave an example of a Masai who may come half naked here, but that is decency is a moral value. It is subjective. To them it's decency, to you it may be indecency. I waited for you to rebut that. You did not rebut that. Now the person that put the final nail in the coffin was the fourth affirmer, who came and said that he pointed out that the fact that the fourth negator had come prejudiced about the debate, meaning that he was already biased about this thing as an individual person, made the law subjective. Those were your words. And the reasoning was okay. That is why I ended up giving it to Team Negative. Team Negative, style, I gave both of you 20. Content, I gave you 24, and I gave them 23. Strategy, that is where I drew my line. I gave you 23, and I gave Team Negative 28, totaling up to 67 for Team Affirmative and 71 for Team Negative.
First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for portraying a good kind of a show. It's quite encouraging when I see such of a kind of a thing, when you people are discussing the critical part of the society and bringing it into panel beating. That is very good. Now, I will start by, I even stole for you exams. I'm very sorry. Team Affirmative. And my judges were hinting me, they were like, don't repeat it. The speaker in the negator side, when you come to mention Article 22, there is what we call non-derogable rights. You get my point? It's suicidal. Very suicidal. Should they have come and rebutted your point, they could have taken the day. I trust you seriously. That article, right to life, is a non-derogable right. You don't mention it. Which I expected the third speaker to come and clash. I even repeated when you were there, you said, start there from Article 22. I wanted you to hear and get the gist, but you never got that. Did I not say that? I said it 3 times. Then your fourth speaker comes. I never even looked at the fourth speaker. I looked at the kind of emotions and the feelings your people did. Do you know you supported them? When we are talking issues of religion, you might be a Christian, you're believing in your Bible. There are people who are Rastafarian, they have never even seen a single scripture in the Bible. It's a formal argument. You don't just bring religion and base on it into your arguments. You get my point? I talked of setting your parameter. Very key. I always repeat it. Don't just set a parameter because you want to set a parameter. It's better I set a parameters the whole world, I set a parameters the United Nations, because I know the states the United Nations are presenting. There, I've made my boundaries large, that any person who comes with an argument, I can stretch myself. I can stretch my boundaries. But your parameters, Uganda, your arguments in strategy, they are not even in this country. All of them, they are giving examples of other states. Trust me, that is it. Then, I love the statement of the fourth speaker who came and said, do you kill a mother with a kid? Or you kill the kid and make the mother survive? I wanted you to answer that question there and there, because you are in an objective kind of situation. Answer it. You never answered. Stage management. Now I'm going to style where I faulted you. When you're in that stage is your final induction. You don't allow any kind of outside things to compact your skills and thinking. I saw somebody throwing for you a pen and you went and picked it. That's very wrong in discipline. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a good debate. Discuss about but please, I'm into your setting of your parameter. Very key. Set your parameter knowing this is a boundary where you're going to base your discussions. I've loved your submissions from the first speaker, second, third, and fourth negator. The best team win. That's what I've said, but it's a unanimous judgment upon the three judges that the negators have the day. With a 73%, the affirmative had the day with 71%, 73, 71. Thank you.